Hello, host Eric here, talking with famous people, and this afternoon I'm here with some famous people in attendance, including famous person Callum, Milkman, Omni Otten Heel, Kiwi Sauce, and Callum asked the question: will robots have personalities? Very good question, and if so, what will be the most popular type to buy? Will anybody want to buy an ESTP robot? What would you use it for?
It could be your hype man.
It could be. That's true. I could use that. What? Host Eric's coming, everybody!
Exactly.
Okay, that's a good. I mean, look. I think your most popular robot type would be the ISFJ. They can keep track of all your shit for you. Okay, mechanics.
But
Yeah,
if,
sure.
but if they're robots, though, are we limiting their computing power and like their organizational skills?
I think they're just like people, except somehow they have no yearning for autonomy. They just want to serve. I think that's ultimately what we'd want a robot to be, right?
Yeah. Wait, so then are they going to be less effective than computers since they're pretty much just humans, slaves with personalities?
I would say no. They can still have better computing power. They can still do more things than people, but they have to. I would say they're like a human, except they're a human who can set up background processes. All right, so who's going to order? For what purpose would somebody order? Are they before or after AI? Well, I think that they're sufficiently resemblant to humans as to qualify as having artificial intelligence. But somehow
I gotta go open the door real quick.
you should do that. You shouldn't be closed. Big mistake. Um. Ow. So, yeah, I mean that's a tricky question. Is at what point, if they have personality types, can they still serve us, or are they just other people that are just robots, though, except they're made out of metal inside or whatever? That's a tricky question. Uh, I think that to some extent we'd have to imagine a consciousness at least slightly different than our own in order to accommodate our ability to use them, unless we set up some sort of reward system where they they get paid in our satisfaction in some way. Like to them, we might want to have something delicious to eat. That would give us a good feeling. But for them, the only rewards they have cognitively are the rewards of FE, and it only applies to human beings. And it can be like linked to one specific person. So you can say, all right, all of your payoff in your existence comes from making me happy. Nothing else matters to you but making me happy. But then they'd have to be really good at figuring out what makes you happy. If they think that making you happy means killing somebody, then they might kill somebody, right? They couldn't have FI. Right, they couldn't have FI. That's a good way to put it. If you want robots to do what you want without having them be an enslaved race of sentient beings, then they couldn't have any FI. What does it mean to feel, host Eric? Oh, Robot Joe, it doesn't matter to you. You're just here to feel how great it is to make me happy. That's true. I sure do love making you happy. Good job, Robot Joe. Like that. That's the future. I dreamed it. We're gonna live it. That's my presidential campaign promise. Robots for everybody. You were to have robots, then you couldn't have any FI Dom types, obviously. But could you imagine a need for one? Do we need one? A robot that does that for us? Do I need a robotic INFP to follow me around and make sure I'm nice to people? Interesting question. Maybe I do. Why not just get a human INFP to do that, Eric? You might ask. Well, you see, that's the problem. You either would have to enslave them or pay them. Or be mated to one. Okay, so the issue of robotic personality types, then, I feel is complicated primarily by, well, there's that question as well. I think it's complicated primarily by how sentient can they be and still be serving us? Wouldn't we have to eliminate some kinds of intelligent thinking in order to have them be our servants and not our slaves? And I think that's the trickiest answer in the whole equation, right? At what point do they cease to be robots and start to become human? If we make them capable of all things humans are capable of, then how can we justify tasking them to serve us? Well, okay, Omnia Ot Nihil says, why not a symbiotic relationship? And I think that such a relationship would require us to make it somehow they get paid off by pleasing us, like I suggested, like all FE. Or, I mean, I guess there's some other conceivable symbiotic relationship that complementary to carbon flaws. So, you mean they stop our bodies from decaying and we, what? What do we do for them? Somehow that process of preserving our well-being, our physical well-being, gives them some kind of a reward. I mean, if we could set it up like that, that's true. Well, we couldn't prioritize just preservation of our bodies. That's the thing. We'd have to prioritize, like, actualization, you know? The robot, an ideal robot helper would help you actualize, and would be in an odd confluence of both scoldy person to you, advisor, slash conscience, all those sort of things. And I mean, it's easy to imagine a world where instead we have a robot whose only interest is to give us pleasure, in which case we just become sort of mindless hedonists. Cut out the middleman, be half human, half robot. All of us become androids. Well,
I want to become a cyborg.
you want to become a cyborg? Okay.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's happening within my lifetime.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we already have different kinds of implants and stuff. Like, they can take out your teeth and implant false teeth into your bones that mimic your teeth. That's a sort of a physical mixing of the two, where you've got some sort of human-made material that's inserted into a bone and intended to fuse to the bone such that it becomes part of your body. That's starting to move down that road. And then as far as the cognitive stuff, I know they have stuff that you can control with your mind, right? Like games that you implants to connect to the interwebs, right? It would be, everyone's life would be a lot better if they could have talking with famous people beamed directly into their brain. Yeah, I mean, I agree that stuff's all happening. I agree with you. And I really am fascinated by that phenomenon where they have those video games that you can control by thinking. You know about those things?
Yeah, I think I've heard about those.
I mean, they're very primitive, but basically, it's like a biofeedback kind of brainwave pattern thing that goes, okay, well, if your brainwave is alpha or whatever, then it does this, and if it's delta, it does this, and so people have to learn to sort of control
Yeah.
their brainwave pattern.
My teacher said his son had one of those.
Really? So if they can do that, then it seems logical to conclude that they're going to be able to do more in that same area, and that we're looking eventually at being able to execute stuff on your computer just by thinking, which is pretty cool, you know?
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And a little scary.
Right, because you're going to have some sort of thought ID, right? You don't want anybody's thoughts to come turn on your computer.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have to... Eric, don't eat orange slices in the middle of making a video. That's just fucking stupid. They sure are good, though. And cheap. Yeah, I mean, so, okay, you don't want to have to constantly be thinking password 4RQ7297. Yes, okay, Eric, this is your computer thinking back at you. And you, okay, now do this. So it's going to have some sort of, like, brain fingerprint you have that it says, this is the brain that I'm responding to. People are going to have to, I think, develop complex levels of attention as well. That the computer, you're going to need to be able to think on two levels, one being like musing and the other one being directed thinking, and you're going to have to get really good at switching between those two if you have a tool that's differentiating between those. HoloLens. What's a HoloLens?
Is it?
I don't know what that is.
Talking about cyborgs and
that's interesting.
robots.
Augmented reality. Oh, so you've got a lens in front of your eye that projects shit out? Or what?
No, it's not.
Oh, I see. I want the whole thing as removed from physical objects as possible, ideally, right? I want to just be able to go upload this video, tag it like normal. I want it to be a computer to know this kind of shit, right? I want to finish this video and go, okay, stop the video, and the computer stops it, uploads it to YouTube automatically, knows which tags I want, and then it'll ask me a question if it's unclear. I want it to watch the whole video, tag it as it thinks it should, ask me to verify it, you know, like make a manuscript out of all the words said within it, and automatically put it out on Twitter and all those other things that people like to use, you know? I want a computer program that does that. A computer helper who understands what I really want done and does it automatically and then asks me if it did it right. That'd be a good thing to have. See, I've also often thought, and this is because I've got SI in the fourth slot, that I really want an app that's like Facebook, except it's basically, it's designed to help you zoom in and out into different areas of your life, your past and your future, and it draws connections automatically and says, this links in with these ascribed beliefs in the following way. This is what it represents to you. Like, basically, an app that's constantly pointing out to you how your behavior is performing against different standards and allowing you to have a complete identity constructed as you're going along, look at it, to take action according to its impact upon your identity, not just upon your momentary circumstances. I have an idea for this thing that I would like to see made. It would be a computer program basically, but the purpose of it would be to compile all of everything in your life and turn it into a sensible narrative. Every possible time object that's associated with you in your life, compile them all and have that zoomable functionality where it's a timeline of your life, and you can, and to have that meta aspect where it's helping to generate and link in narratives with each other so you understand why you feel how you do, who you are, stuff like that. Any thoughts on this topic about robot personalities that's gotten into other possible applications of technology and so forth? As per Callum's original question of, do robots have personalities? Should they? Will they? Can they? Ought they? Need they? We'll end with the following thought. As per Callum. Yeah. Cyborg eye.